Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day. In today's video, I wanted to do a makeup look inspired by spring, so I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button so you can see more of my videos. Anything that I use will be listed down in the description box below. If you'd like to see how I do this, then keep on watching. I've already done one eye off camera, and now that I can see what I wanted to do, I'm so excited to do the other eye and see what this finished look looks like because it is so pretty on this one eye. The palette I'm going to be using is the Morphe and Abby Roberts palette. So I did get this inspiration from a picture off Pinterest, so I will put that somewhere around me so you guys can see what I'm doing. I skipped the gems because I don't have any lash glue. I did want to put some gems on the outer side and like this flower in the middle. So mine's a little bit different. The color scheme is different. I'm doing it more towards spring, while hers is purple and blue. So I didn't want to do those colors. I wanted to do my own colors, and I wanted to kind of give it more of a spring flower touch, I guess. I'm going to use some tape to help line this up. This helps with cleanup as well. The thing is, I just have to make sure that I'm matching the eye that is finished. I also finally trimmed up my eyebrows and like cleaned them up a little bit, so now they look better, and I can actually put more makeup on this on the eye and like the side of the eye without it going into like my eyebrows because they were like overgrown. I'm going to be using a couple different brushes. Some have names, some don't. So if I don't say the name, I'll try to explain what the brush looks like, but I am using a few different kinds, more than I normally would. First brush I'm using is a 213 brush, and I'm going to go into the shade Dino. This is just a really deep green shade. I'm not a really big fan of this green color. I'm only using it as the darker color of the green. I like the green that I'm blending out with more. So I'm going to be using more of the other shade than this shade. This shade is just so it has a darker point to the green color. Then to blend this out, I'm going to use a Bellalash Brush. I'm going to go into the shade Tinkers, which is a lighter, it's kind of closer to a highlighter green, but not completely highlighter-ish, if that makes any sense. I'm going to use this shade to blend this darker green out and then blend up into my brow because I want this to be kind of dramatic on top. While I'll blend this out, I wanted to tell you guys about a giant storm that we had last night, and like we were on a tornado watch, and I knew it was gonna storm over last night. I knew it was gonna storm last night. I just didn't know how bad, but it woke me up and it sounded like rocks were being flung at like this side of the house, and I've been having trouble sleeping. So like if you guys have been watching some of my videos, you know I'm pregnant, so I've been having a little bit of trouble sleeping and like staying asleep just because I'm uncomfortable, and I get a little bit of insomnia while trying to sleep. And my cat insists on sleeping during the day and then being crazy all night, so he'll like constantly meow, and it's always at 5:30 in the morning, and he'll sit there, he'll start meowing, and he will not stop for like hours, and I don't know why. So he wakes me up every day. So I've been having a little bit of trouble sleeping, but this storm woke me up, and I was sleeping so good last night, and my cat wasn't being a nuisance for once, or at least he didn't wake me up this time. And the storm was so loud, and I'm not even kidding when I tell you that it sounded like actual rocks. Like our gravel driveway is on the other side of the house, and it sounded like our whole gravel driveway was just being flung into the side of the house. It was so loud, and I didn't know what to do. I was like, is that actually rocks? Like, is there really like a small tornado like coming at my house right now and flinging rocks everywhere? I was like, that was my first initial thought. I was like, do I need to like run to the bathroom or something with my animals, or like is it just like, am I just being crazy? Is it, I don't know. I didn't know what was happening. Going back in with that darker green shade, it kind of blended it out a little bit more than I expected. I'm gonna go back in really quick. I didn't want to look out the window because just in case like there was, you know, a tornado like flying towards me, I didn't want to be right at the window, and I also didn't want to be right at the window if actual rocks were being flung up, because I didn't know if it would break the window or not, because it was loud. It was pretty aggressive. So I didn't know. I just kind of like opened the curtain a little bit and like peeked out, and it was just the rain. It was just the rain. The rain, I don't know if it was hailing or whatever. I don't think it was, because it was fairly warm, so I don't see how it would have been hailing. But it was just flinging rain sideways last night, and it was so loud. Like, I'm not afraid of thunderstorms, but it was a little scary. Like, I was a little worried about it. But it was a very aggressive storm, and like, it went on for a couple of hours. And my husband was gone last night, and he was on his way home fairly early in the morning, and I was a little worried about him coming home, so I texted him to see if he was still kind of stuck where he was, and he ended up calling me, and it was like, I think it was like 6:30 at this point. I had like stayed awake for a little bit, listening to the storm and kind of seeing how it was changing, and because I was worried about my husband coming home, so I texted him to see if he was still like kind of where he was, or if he was on his way home, and he ended up calling me, and he was in the middle of town, almost home, thank goodness. And he said he was driving in the storm, which of course freaked me the hell out, but he's like he's driving a Jeep, so it's got like 4-wheel drive. Like, it's a little bit better in weather than just like a regular car, so like he had a better vehicle in it than probably a lot of other people did, but I was still worried about him. But he called me and told me what was going on, and that he was on his way home, and that he was almost home. And he said there was a gigantic tree in the middle of town, and it had fallen like in between 2 houses. Thank goodness it didn't hit the house, any of the houses around it, but it just fell perfectly in between. But yeah, there's just this gigantic tree, and like the power was out in like half the town. And I'm pretty sure our power was out, but the clock that I was looking at to see if the power, because he asked me if the power was out. The clock that I was looking at has, I didn't know this, it has like a battery as well as like plug-in. So it was on battery. So when I looked at it, I was like, the clock is working, so I guess the power's still on, but I think our power might have been out, or at least it went out, because our clocks in the kitchen, like the stove and the microwave, were flashing. So some people lost power. So I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of trees that have fallen like on power lines and stuff. I think I made this uneven. The flower is supposed to be like in the center. I don't think I did. I used my finger to kind of clean it up. But yeah, I'm sure the storm last night made some of the power go out and like knock down trees onto power lines. But it was a pretty aggressive storm. Oh, I forgot what I'm doing. I'm using another flat brush. This is a Morphe brush. It does not have a number on it, but it's just similar to the 213 brush. It's just a little bit longer. I just wanted to use a different flat brush for the orange, and the shade I'm using is called Hot Sauce. I'm doing the same thing that I did with the green. I'm using a darker shade, and then I'll blend it out with a lighter shade. I have another Bellalash brush somewhere, but I can't find it. So I'm using the same Bellalash brush. I just cleaned it off, and I'm gonna go into a lighter orange shade, and this is called Spicy. I'm gonna use this to blend this darker orange out. And I'm taking full advantage of the tape by blending out into it. That way I'm blending really well. And I don't have to worry about like I need to stop somewhere. So take full advantage of that tape. I was kind of worried it was gonna continue into the day, but honestly outside it's like what's happening last night compared to what it looks like today. It's like really pretty, and it's kind of trippy how contrasting it is from what I was hearing last night and what I saw out the window with the little peek that I peeked out. Just gonna go back in with that Hot Sauce shade and just put that back in after blending. Now that those two shades are blended fairly well, I'm gonna start cutting the crease. I'm gonna be using the MAC Studio Finish Concealer in the shade NW15. The brush I'm gonna be using is another Morphe flat brush. This one unfortunately does not have a number either, but it's a little bit smaller and a little bit more tapered. And I'm not doing my normal trick with this cut crease because it goes a little bit higher than where I would normally put a cut crease, just because it's a little bit more dramatic. So I'm gonna be creating my own cut crease line instead of using the little trick that I'd normally use. Because I would normally start with a liquid concealer because it's easier to get a cut crease line with it. But I'm just starting right off the bat with this thicker one because I don't need the liquid to create that line like I normally do. So going right in with this thicker one, I can create my own line a bit easier than with the liquid. The only challenge was making the cut crease is just making sure it matches with the other side. Now I am going all the way out with this. I'm going to continue the cut crease into the orange and use that to clean up that outer line as well. And again, using full advantage of the tape. Before I do anything else with eyeshadow, I'm going to take some setting powder and set that concealer. I forgot to do it on the other eye until after I finished everything. So it wasn't a big deal for me to put this over because it's translucent powder, so it's not going to cover anything up, but I do need to set that concealer. Now, I would prefer to do it after I complete the look. Before. Did I say before or after? I don't know. I want to set before completing the look, just in case I said after. I don't even know what I said. Since I did mention, if you guys don't know, that I am pregnant, I'm pregnant. And for the people that do know, I can give you guys a little update. I am 26 weeks today, so I am over halfway done. I'm getting bigger, which, like I said in a video before, that I feel like once you get past that like halfway mark and like start getting into your 3rd trimester is when you start getting bigger. I feel like the first half of your pregnancy, and I know it's different for like 2nd and 3rd pregnancies, like you show a little bit faster than your 1st pregnancy. I just feel like you get bigger faster in your 3rd trimester than compared to your 1st and 2nd, and that could just be my experience, but I just feel like I wasn't like showing very much in my 1st and 2nd trimester, and then just recently, like after the 20 week mark, I feel like I'm showing a lot more and it's a lot more noticeable. It also helps that the weather is getting warmer, so I'm not wearing my baggy like sweaters or like sweatshirts or anything like that. So I'm starting to wear like more t-shirts and tank tops. So it is a lot more obvious now. So I'm starting to show a little bit more. I don't know if I'm happy about that. I am happy that I'm showing more because like I'm excited about it, but I also don't know if I'm excited about it because people tend to like interact with you more, and like obviously you guys don't know me in person, but to the people that know me in person, I'm not somebody that likes to have like conversation with random people. I don't like, what's it called? Like, how's the weather? Like, talk like that. I don't like that kind of talk. I know there's a word for it. I can't think of it. But I don't like that kind of talk, and I don't really care to talk to strangers. It has increased with that. Like, obviously people are like, oh, like, are you having a baby? And I just don't like that. First of all, I don't know you. I don't want to talk to you about my like personal life, like me having a baby and like whatever, and I just feel like it brings that on a little bit more. And I don't like being touched. I don't like random people touching me. The only person I'm really comfortable with touching me is my husband, obviously, but like anybody else, I'm like, I prefer not to be touched by anybody else. And so, like, I feel like people want to just touch you, and I'm like, don't. I haven't had that happen yet, but I know that a lot of people have had that happen, and I don't want it to happen to me because I don't like conflict, but at the same time, I don't want you to randomly touch me. Like, you're a stranger, I don't know you, don't touch me. I just feel like that's so weird, too. Like, why do you just want to touch somebody? Anyways, let me get back to the makeup and I can continue my conversation. Now that the crease is cut and it's cleaned up and set with setting powder, I'm going to go back in with the darker shades and just kind of clean that cut crease line up. So I'm using that 213 brush and going in with the Dino shade and just cleaning that cut crease. I added a little bit more green than I wanted, so I'm going to try to blend it out. I'm going to go in with a little bit of Tinker just to blend that top part of that green out, just because it added more than I needed it to. But I don't want it to blend that concealer either. I'm doing the same thing with the orange. But I just feel like when you're pregnant and like you start to obviously be pregnant, it's just like for some people it's an invitation to like talk to you about it or to like touch your belly. And I just don't know why I guess I don't really care much about people asking about it because it is an exciting thing. It's fun. You know, I understand that part of it. I'm just the type of person that doesn't like small talk. That's what it's called. I forgot. Small talk. That's what it's called. I don't really care for small talk with random people. I would much rather, like if I'm at a restaurant or whatever, or standing in the store or whatever, I would just much rather do what I'm doing and get out and like not talk to somebody. So, I mean, I understand why people want to like ask you about it because it's exciting. It's like everybody loves a new baby, everybody likes it. Like pregnancy is like, you know, not everybody experiences it, so like it's exciting for that person and like for the people that like are around you. So I can understand that, but like the touching, like I don't get why the people want to just touch you and feel the need to do that. I just don't understand that. And I feel like when you're pregnant and obviously pregnant, it kind of invites that kind of stuff. So like, I don't know if I'm excited about warmer weather and like showing off my bump, or if I'm like more of like, I would rather hide it just because it keeps people from interacting with me more than I would normally get, if that makes any sense. And I know there's lots of people out there that feel the same exact way I do. What I'm doing now, I'm using a Glisten Cosmetics F2 brush, and I'm going into that Dino shade. So I'm kind of doing the same combination of the green that I did up here, but on this lash line, and I'm gonna make a wing out of it. I'm gonna leave a little gap between the orange and the green, and I'm gonna go into that tape to create a sharp line. I'm just basically creating a wing. Then going in with that Bellalash Brush, I'm gonna blend this wing out with the shade Tinker. And that'll make this like blended wing that I have on the other side. And it does kind of meet, there's still like a little bitty gap, but it does almost meet the orange when I blend it out. That's what I'm going to use to get close to that orange shade. But yeah, I am 26 weeks and I'm starting to get the nerves and the anxiety of getting close to labor, which I know 26 weeks is still fairly far away, but it's just nerve-wracking because I look at it in weeks. So like there's like 14 weeks left, and I'm like, that is so little. Like that is not a lot of weeks, but in reality it's like 3 months. Like I've got 3 months left. But to me, I'm like looking at it, I'm like 14 weeks, oh my god, like there's so much shit to do. And I know that a lot of mothers and people that are pregnant understand that, and it's just like you just start getting stressed out about all the shit you have to do to get things prepared. Like I don't even have the nursery ready. Like we are still trying to finish our rooms. If you've been watching me for a little bit, then you know that we like redid our 2 other bedrooms, and we didn't plan on getting pregnant. So like we were just gonna passively do them. Well, now like we need to actually get them done, and they don't have any floor. We have 1 coat of paint on our office because we're trying to move this room, which is our office right now, to the other room to make into our office, and then this room will be the nursery. And like we only have 1 coat of paint on the other room because we ran out of paint and haven't gone out and get more paint. They were gonna paint this like past weekend, but we didn't realize we were out of paint until then. We thought we had like another can and we were gonna start this weekend, but now we realized that we don't have enough paint, so we're gonna have to go get paint whenever we get a chance and then finish painting that room. And we still don't have any flooring, so we're still waiting on, like we're trying to save up enough money to get flooring. So we just have so much to do and it's really stressful. Okay, so now that that's blended out fairly well, I'm going to take this tape off. I did a pretty good job on matching. Usually it's one of them's a little off, but I think they're both pretty even. For the flower, I'm gonna use my Mehron Paradise Makeup AQ in 8 color palette. The brush I'm gonna be using is a Morphe M250-1 brush. To start, I'm gonna use the back of the brush, the bottom, whatever you wanna call it, the handle of the brush to make a dot. And that's gonna be the little yellow part of the flower. And then I wanna do 5 petals. So I'm gonna start on the top to make 1 petal. What I'm gonna start off with, I'm gonna start with a line, and then I'm just going to thicken the middle part. And then I'm gonna go to the bottom and make 2 petals. This is gonna help me make 5 petals and make them even. Then all I'm gonna do is fill in the other 2 sides the same way. And then I'm just gonna thicken them. Now that they're all kind of in line, I'm gonna just thicken them to kind of fill up the spaces and to make sure that they're even. I want to go back in and kind of put that yellow dot back in because the white kind of covered it up. I'm gonna fan it because I want to make sure it dries before my crease kind of spreads it. Went back in on this eye and added the white a little bit more just because it looked a little faded compared to the new flower, so I went back and kind of matched them a bit better. This is all I'm doing for the top of the eyeshadow. I'm gonna go off camera and do my base really quick, and then I'll be back to finish the entire look. I'm back. This side is completely finished, so I'm going to show you how I do it on the other eye. I did already tight line and line my waterline. I used the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Black Bean. I thought about using a green, but I felt like the green that I have would be too light. It wouldn't be the same green that I used on my eye, so I didn't think it would look as good, so I went with the black. Especially because on the under eye I'm using orange, so I figured the black would look better with the orange. To start off, I'm going to use the shade Hot Sauce, which was the darker orange, with a Bellalash brush. I'm going to blend this really tight against my waterline, just because I don't want this darker shade to be the majority of the color. I just want it to be really dark up against my waterline. Then using the same brush, I'm going to go into Hot Sauce, I'm gonna go into Spicy. Hot Sauce was the dark orange. I'm gonna go into Spicy, and I'm gonna use this to kind of blend that darker shade out, and then I'm bringing it down just a little bit further. Just feel like this will complement that top orange a bit better. Did it differently on the other eye, but I thought this was a better way after doing it this way. After doing it one way on this side, I didn't really like it as much, so I changed it with going on this side. I really like the way this looks with my brown eyes. I just feel like it's very spring, and I think I hit the spring right on the dot with this look, and I really like it. I added freckles and bronzed my skin a little bit more, and I just feel like, I don't know, I just really like the way this look turns out. Base eye look, my brown eyes with it and everything. I just really enjoy this look. Now for highlighter, I'm going to use the Nikkie Tutorials highlighter trio, and I'm going to use the shade Glazed Donut. I'm going to use my finger for this inner corner, and because I have the flower on my brow bone, I'm not going to put any on my brow bone. I'm going to use a e.l.f. blending brush and just use a tiny amount on the high point of my cheekbone. And I'm also going to use it for my forehead. Continuing to use the same brush, I'm going to use that shade on the middle of my nose, and then on the tip, as well as on my cupid's bow and on my chin. That is it for the face. I'm going to use the Urban Decay All Nighter Ultra Matte Setting Spray. I am so close to being out of this. It's so upsetting. Now for lips, I wanted to go with like a pink nude. So for lip liner, I'm going to use the Morphe in the shade Sugar Pie. For the pink lipstick, I'm going to use the Jeffree Star Velour Liquid Lipstick in the shade Question Mark. This came out of one of his mystery boxes, so I don't know if it's sold as is. I'm honestly going to put this all over my mouth. Now I want to blend this in with the lip liner, because the lip liner is a little bit darker than this pink shade, so I want to blend it together to create like an ombre into the center. Then to kind of nude it out on, I don't even know if that's a word, but whatever, to make it a little bit more nude on this center, I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Warm Taupe Matte Lipstick. This is going to help tone down that pink. And then I'm just going to kind of blend it together. So that is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I like hearing y'all's feedback, so please comment down below with anything you'd like to tell me or any future videos you'd like to see. Until next time, bye.